Good morning. Hi everyone. It's Friday morning. There's too much stuff on my table. That's going there. There's way too much stuff. It doesn't help that I have my breakfast still on the table because I haven't eaten it yet. No, I don't want that there. Because I have water and coffee and breakfast. That's better. Breakfast on stream, what a concept! Even better, it is a slice of cake. This cake was so sweet. I feel like it was sweeter than when I've gotten it in past years. It's Weewin's birthday? Aw, thank you. I'm sorry, that's not the word I wanted. I wanted to say happy birthday and thank you for giving a sub to Chaz. I was getting those backwards. Thank you for having been born. We're working on this painting today once I'm done eating. And I walked in and I was like, oh yeah, the moss. I don't hate it. There's parts of it I do like. But there's parts of it I'm like, we're gonna have to redo this. Like, this feels fine. This part feels puffy. Like, it sticks up too much. It's too round. It should not be this round. I'm also using my golden cup today, which is real great. Gotta wrangle in that moss. Cover it with more. So I'm not sure if I want to cover it with more or if I want to continue on with the painting and then come back to it. Not sponsored, but could be. I cut a thinner slice of cake today because it's the frosting that's overwhelming on this cake. And it's helping. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. We went to see the Mario movie last night. So I have beverage for cake, I have coffee and water. How was it? Did you enjoy movie? How was Morrow? And it was good. It was a constant barrage of scenes. It felt like a Mario game. Like, there was sort of a plot. And a lot happened. And kept happening. And, like, it wasn't bad. I liked all the references. I don't want to spoil anything if people have managed to, like, not see it yet. My favorite character is the one behind the information desk. That was my favorite part. Rowan has a good point. As a movie, it was fine. As a piece of Mario media, I loved it. Yes. That is a good way to put it. I need to eat cake. And I still have my Publix bar cake to pick up. And I still have half of this cake. Ow. Steven is getting his hair cut. I keep worrying that this chair is gonna unlock from its rocker position and then just like shoot backwards on me. I keep checking it. Alright. My thought right now is I don't feel like wrestling with moss. But like I could. Because I started to do the bark over here. Mal living in fear. You need a new chair. The problem is I'm very particular on that. This chair is Steven's college office chair from 2007. And the only thing wrong with it is it sometimes comes unlocked because it does a little bit of a rock, and then that makes the part that keeps it locked in loose. So when that finally unlocks fully, and you can really rock back, I do worry that I'm going to tip the chair over and fall. It is the only problem with this chair. Don't tempt it. My personal computer chair, my office chair, is the IKEA, is it Marcus? I took the arms off of it because I hate arms on chairs. But I also like that chair. There's other furniture in the house I want to replace. We'll get to the painting. I've gotten so many paint swatches from the store trying to pick colors for the house, and I'm starting to get to a good point, and we're not painting everything at once. Like, I just want everything picked out. Because I want them to be, like, harmonious with each other. So I need them picked out so that I can be like, all right, these are going to be the colors. Now we're only buying this one to do this room. House painting stream 1. We could. Because the first room I want to do is the foyer. Because it's like the only room besides the kitchen living room that I can't close the door if we get kittens. So we could just like point a camera down the foyer. I really wanted to have the foyer be like a navy blue. Like a deep navy. I don't have anything super navy in here. So I wanted that, but the foyer is very long and very dark already, and so I put up like 3 swatches of navy, and they all just look black. And someday I want to replace the front door with one that has just a little bit of a transom window across the top center, so there's like some light that comes down that hallway and it's not a cave. But that's not in the current plans because that costs more money. But I don't want to paint something that looks black when I don't know if it'll work. And replacing the door is far off in the future. So we'll just pick a different color and then maybe someday I'll repaint it. But I'm thinking like a blue of some sort in the foyer. The guest room, I'm kind of torn. I was looking a little bit more towards like a purple, like a muted dusty purple. But that room, the first floor, the ceilings are a lot taller than the second floor. So that room is very weirdly tall, but like it feels cramped. It's really strange. And I'm like, I gotta bring the ceiling down visually. So that might be the only room I paint the ceiling. Just to bring it down and make it feel a little more cozy and not like you're standing in a tube. So I think I might do that. And I have a few colors in there on the wall. And I don't particularly want to replace the quilt because that quilt is new-ish. Just pull all of your potential guests for the guest room color. We do have some people visiting next month. And that room won't be painted by then, so they can give their thoughts on it. I did get thoughts from people on Wednesday when they were over. And then the guest bathroom is going to be like a sage green color. So I have a few in there, and I like all of them, so I haven't decided on any of them. And the kitchen and living room, because they're like combined, this is what I want to do, and it's probably stupid because I've never seen anyone do this, is I want to fade from one color in the kitchen to a color in the living room instead of painting them all the same. Because there's not really a good spot to like switch colors. So we're going to do a gradient. Because I decided that that's what we were doing. So the kitchen is going to be a green color, and it's going to fade into a blue color. Fun but risky. Okay, so if you've seen vlogs of the house, like above the patio door in the kitchen, like it's only like this tall, right? So like that's where I'm going to fade it, is right above that. So it's going to be, whenever you're in there, that's where all the light's coming from, so it's kind of blinding you anyway, so you're not going to fully notice. So I think it's going to be just fine. So I just have this like 5 foot by 2 foot square where I'm going to have to do the gradient. Sherlock says that's not too bad. Yeah, that's what we were thinking, which is why I think we're willing to try it. But I have to pick out 2 colors and then get 2 like mini samples and then maybe use a canvas board or something and try it. See if they blend together or if they make something too muddy. And yeah, they're analogous colors because it's blue and green. So it should be fine, but I didn't want them to be way too different from each other. Because, like, it's not acrylic, it's house paint. In my office, I was thinking a blue in there, like a deeper color, because it's a bit brighter in there than the foyer. But it also still looks dark. So I picked out more of a lavender color, and it goes really well with the wallpaper I have, because I'm going to do wallpaper in that room. And then I thought about doing a dark color in our bedroom because that room gets the most light. But I want it to be airy because it gets all this light, so now it's going to be a light color. And those are the only rooms I do want to paint. There's things I'd like to paint. Like this room doesn't make sense to paint because it's very gray. And that is neutral for bouncing the light off canvases, for the camera, so this room will not be changing. And that's fine with me. But it was interesting because we were at the store and I was looking at all the swatches and I was like, ah, this color is very green. And this one is very gray. And so I was picking out colors. And then we get home and I tape them to the wall. And I was like, wow, putting this green on the gray wall makes this green very gray. Especially when I had it around other greens that were way more saturated. And like, I know color. It was just very fun to see it happen. Where's my white paint marker? I used it outside of the studio the other day, but I probably don't need it today. All right, let's look at this moss objectively now that we've been live for 26 minutes. This is why paint chips exist? Yeah. So you get the paint chips. I want to settle on a color, and then I want to buy a little test swatch, and then paint like a 2 foot by 2 foot square. And then see how I feel about that, just to make sure before I go do all the paint. All right, where do I hate the moss the most? Here. And maybe that one. So I may have to just kind of not go with my photo here and make it look better. Let's pull photo up. The iPad just told me it hasn't been updated. Yeah, I know. You're on airplane mode and you have been for a long time. Because I don't need my photos syncing with my phone. Because then I won't find what I need. Improvised moss. That's what we're going to do. I also don't love this one. Because right now it feels like it's still a well. Maybe I should just leave the moss alone for now. Just work on bark. I feel like the laptop is louder than normal. All right, let's clean off the palette a little bit because it's super full of paint right now. We also talked about, oh, that's right. Where's my sketchbook? Oh, it's in the other room. I was using it. Shoot. I need that. I wanted to do a test. Let me go grab it. I wanted to do a test because we talked about, I just saw my note because there had been a paint tube on top of it. We talked about doing palette knife bark, like so. So I wanted to do a test where we did the palette knife for the shadows and the mid tones, and then did brush on the highlights. So I wanted to also test that out. So I'm going to clear off palette. And what I think we're going to end up doing is we're going to try that because it's going to need to dry between some of these layers. And we'll work on fixing the moss. That makes the most sense. This paint is really caked on here today. I think I should just grab a different palette and do this later. I mean, these all have paint on them, but this one might come off easier. God. Very scrapey. Guess who's back from their haircut and hopefully remembered to go to the store. I told Steven I wanted to carb load tonight because I have an early bike ride tomorrow. That's gonna be really hard. If it's Costco, he'll remember. I don't think he went to Costco. He might have. I didn't check his location. Oh yeah, this one's coming cleaner, way easier. There's much less paint on this one than there was on the other one. Can you get a haircut at Costco? If you could, he would definitely do that. Can we get an update on his location throughout stream? He's home now. That was him arriving home, not leaving. Oh, this one's very stuck. What is this? This is glazing liquid. Come on. Are you and Steven ready for Japan tomorrow? Robert. You know I would love to. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm supposed to bike ride tomorrow. Hi, you have a haircut.
I got a haircut.
Look at your haircut.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Thank you. I have a surprise for you.
Oh no.
No, like a good surprise.
Okay.
Do you want it now?
Yeah.
I almost said it's an edible. It is edible, not a edible. Noun.
Is it sweet?
Yes.
I just had cake.
You just had cake?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
There's still half a cake in the fridge.
I know, but I stopped to get ground beef.
Okay.
And I saw something and I thought of us. It was an edible. Do you want do you want to see it? Do you want it to
I'll
be
see it.
You want to see it?
See it.
You may want it.
It's a donut.
Yeah, but look at what kind.
Lemon?
It's a lemon donut.
Why? What about lemon is us?
I love lemon.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you love lemon.
I do?
Yeah. We love lemon together. We love it. And we love trying new, strange things.
I mean, it looks good. My heart wants to eat it, but I just had a slice of that cake, as you know, is very sweet.
Yeah, no, that might not be as sweet, because it might be like a...
Thank you.
Anyway, it'll be for later.
For later.
For later.
For later.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, what is happening here? Just domestic life. Just beautiful domestic life. Mel is learning so much about herself today.
Oh, it's a scroll this way.
Yeah. Anyway.
Chaz said, it's okay, I'll take the rest of your cake. You can come get cake, Chaz. When I'm done streaming, come over and grab cake.
Like, I like the cake.
Yes.
I want there to be cake. But, you know, I saw these and was like, oh my goodness, something different. And we both love lemon. I'm gonna take a bite out of this.
Okay. I'll take a bite if you're taking a bite. But I'm not gonna eat more than that because I just had cake. So...
Tastes like lemon.
When we did the Shimanami Kaido in Japan...
It is pretty sweet.
It was very sweet. That area is very known for citrus. So there was a ton of citrus fields. There's a term for that. Groves. Groves. Yeah. Citrus groves.
Is that the first time you've ever done that?
That is the first time I've ever done that.
It kind of looked like you didn't let go of the cup.
I didn't.
What happened?
I hit it.
Oh. You need like a paper towel?
I have paper towel.
Oh. Do you need me to do anything?
No, I'm fine.
I guess, like...
It was not hot.
It was not hot.
It's just slightly warm.
It fell on your apron?
Yeah, it's all over my apron.
And on the floor, which has like 4 tarps on it.
And a plastic sheet under it.
Like,
yeah.
Of all of the places in the house to spill coffee, this is like the place to do it.
Anyway.
You did slop your dripper.
That's not what I did. That's when you miss. When you're trying to drink. I was not trying to drink, I just was talking.
Slopping your... First off, how can you explain to me what my family's term is?
Anyway, there's still coffee in this.
You don't get to decide what slop your dripper means. Slop your dripper means you spilled something. Generally on yourself.
Anyway, I can take the apron off as these clothes are not ones I need to worry about paint with.
You want me to put it in the washer or you just put it on the floor?
I'm just gonna put it on the floor for now.
Okay.
I put a knot in this. I was saying, so Shimanami Kaido is all citrus groves. And Onomichi has so many cats. And like they have a vibrant art scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if I win the lottery ever or when I retire, my goal is to move there and open a bike shop. Maybe not necessarily like a shop, but like maybe a cafe that's bike themed. That's my plan. So every other year, even years, so it's 2026, so it's an even year, they shut down all of the islands throughout the Shimanami Kaido, and they do a bike thing. I don't know if it's a full race or if it's just a ride. But like I think tomorrow actually Seth is on, which is why you threw me when you were like Japan tomorrow, is they open the lottery system for applications for that for the fall. But I can't go this fall.
Yeah.
So when I was there in Onomichi, I bought a little charm for my purse. And there's a cat on a bicycle on it. And it says, "Let's roll around the Shimanami Kaido."
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that was making noise on my bag yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Scary. Will you take that plate down? Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to jump in the shower.
Oh, to get all the loose hair off your head?
Yeah. But you might have a cup of coffee first because I just ate the donut. That donut was really sweet.
You ate the whole thing? I thought you were just taking a bite.
No, I ate it.
Okay.
Because I got two. Like I got one for me and one for you. So
there's another one?
Yeah, so the other one's yours.
I see.
And unless you decide that you don't need it or want it, in which case it's either mine or Chaz, depending on who gets to it first.
Chaz said he would take cake, but he can have either.
Yeah, it was good. I do wish it was more lemon, like a little more tart. No, I'm glad I came up here. I'm just taking all this stuff.
Thank you.
You got anything else?
Appreciate it. No, unless there's something over there.
I don't have any more hands.
I've gotten to 0 painting so far.
Oh,
because I ate my cake, and then I was talking about the house in the paint colors. And then someone came in and told me about their haircut and had a donut for me.
I mean,
so.
I've only been taking up like a few moments of your time. When I got in here, it was 11:30, so you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 8 minutes, yeah.
All right. So you're gonna.
I'm gonna paint, yeah.
Okay.
I had to clean off my palette.
And that took half an hour.
That took half an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, enjoy.
Thank you.
Good luck. Moss looks good.
I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah. There's some of it I like and some of it I don't. So like, I don't like this one.
Okay.
Because it feels like a well instead of like, I need to do more with it.
Oh, is it not supposed to be a well?
No.
Okay, it does look like a well.
Yeah. I think I need to bring this front part, like on this side, up a little bit. Like angle it back.
Okay.
Like this part I like. I like this.
Yeah.
And like I like some of this in here, but this guy
Yeah.
and these guys are too puffy. They're like a puff.
Yeah,
I need them to be less puff.
So if I'm looking at your painting,
Yeah.
I think your painting does not look bad.
Uh-huh.
When I look at your photograph that you're working from,
It's not like it.
No,
as
it
much as
doesn't.
I want it to be.
No.
Yeah.
Yours looks more like moss,
Uh-huh.
and the photograph looks more like
Lichen.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's wet, and yours does not feel wet.
Yes.
Okay.
And like this part I think is fine, like here and here. And it doesn't have to be lichen.
Yeah,
It's
also,
a painting.
yeah,
but like
it's a
I just
painting.
don't like how puffy this looks and then this guy. The rest
Yeah.
of them are fine.
Yeah, the thing to keep in mind is that your photograph is the inspiration for
Yes.
the piece. It's not a one-to-one.
I know.
So if you paint something that doesn't look exactly like a photograph, but it still looks good, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a test of how I want to do this bark because this bark should be more in focus
Okay.
on the paper. We're gonna do that.
Mhm.
And then while that's drying, we're gonna work on fixing a little bit of this moss. And what I'm gonna do is because it looks so round, I'm just gonna kind of flatten it out. And like, it'll be bigger than it should be, but that's okay. And I'll try and fix this guy
You're
too.
working on the
Yeah.
bark.
And then I wanna bring in a little bit like darker in some of these spaces to really push those shadows.
Okay. Is that bark up there done?
No, it's almost done.
Okay.
I just want to push the shadows deeper.
Yeah, it needs contrast.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's hard when it's wet because it looks darker, but now it is dry.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. Okay, well, you're doing good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have a coffee and put my head in water.
Make sure you breathe the air and not the water.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean like I'm gonna drown myself. I mean like,
Shower.
oh, you didn't want my donut? Well, I guess I'll drown myself. No, I'm gonna get in the shower to try and rinse the hair off.
Okay.
So, all right, well,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you for getting ground beef so we can have spaghetti
Yeah, we'll make spaghetti for
dinner.
dinner.
I'm doing a hard bike ride in the morning.
That's why you wanted spaghetti.
That's why I want spaghetti.
Yes.
We can't be up too late playing Hitman, by the way.
The streams are literally the same amount of time every week.
I know.
We pretty historically end at 11, like almost on the dot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just very important we eat spaghetti before the stream, so we're not eating spaghetti after the stream.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave that in your capable hands of making sure that we do that. We should probably start spaghetti at like 5.
Okay.
So.
Set an alarm for 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Either start boiling water or tell me to start boiling water, and we'll make it happen.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
Are we making skyline chili? No, we're just doing regular spaghetti. This ultramarine blue container is really falling apart. The cap on it. Also, I just mixed the perfect dark brown to push some of those contrasts, so we might do that also. I might do that first. We're gonna put it down as my testing thing we're doing here. And then we'll push the contrast, and then we'll do another layer, and then we'll fix moss, and then we'll do more layers. I'm gonna do my first ever paceline ride tomorrow. And I'm nervous. That's when you ride like 2x2, like all the way back in a long line. And it is going to be early. All right, there's our test spot. And it's shiny wet. So we're gonna go set that over here to dry. And then we're gonna go push our contrast. Bikes go riding 2x2, hurrah. You have to be like real close to the person in front of you when you do a paceline ride. And I've practiced doing that when I ride with Purple Bike Friend and the guy who sold me my bike. I need a shorter name for him. Both their names start with the same letter too, so that's confusing. We practice doing that because we're like trying to get ready to do a paceline ride. And both of them have done that before, so. Bike monger. How long was the ride? It's, I think it's like 35 miles. And I hear it is hilly. And I really hate doing climbs. I really hate doing climbs. They're so rough. I'm struggling to determine if this is dark enough. It might just be wet. I might need more blue. Let's do that. Where's the blue? Basically don't fall down or everybody is going down? Kinda. I'm also wondering if I should, which bike I should bring. Let me get an opinion on that. Because my older bike, my red bike, is a road bike, but my normal bike is a gravel bike, and this is a road ride, not a gravel ride. And like, it does fine. It's just road bikes tend to be faster. And if we're riding at an 18-mile-per-hour pace, I want to be as fast as possible. Yeah, that was definitely not dark enough. All right. And this is way darker. I just added a little bit more ultramarine to this. I'm also gonna pull my hair back. If I call him Bike Monger, it makes it sound like that's all he does. And that is not all he does. He just had a bike that was not one he needed anymore, so he was selling it. That's all we know he does. That's true, Kaze Ninja. Alright, this is a messy ponytail because I don't have a hairbrush, but it's fine. It gets most of the hair out of my way. Oh, it's really messy. I got all these terrible loops. Alright. Surely there's more to Purple Bike Friend than being purple, and yet I've told him that's how I refer to him on stream, and he thinks it's hilarious. His new bike is not purple. It's not purple yet. It's really pretty though. It's like a very warm silver, like not rose gold, but, and it's not brassy. I don't know if I like this brush for this. I feel like I need something less round. Switch to this flat. Nope, not that one. Need better small flats. Let's try this angle. I take that back, I want the filbert. This is helping. Bring in some of this contrast in here. Oh, I can also use this to shade. Okay, yeah. If I use this under the moss a little bit, I can set the moss a little bit more into the bark. Oh, that helps. Forgot I could do that. I did talk about that last week, but we forgot. just anchor that down a little bit. Oh, that helps a lot. Good. What painting am I doing? It's a photo I took in Japan of this tree root system, and there was like a little puddle in all the tree roots. This might solve a lot of the problems I have with the moss. It's not going to solve all of them, but it's solving some of them. We can show reference photo. Is that what is in the queue? I can play that in a second. I'm just gonna do the top of this right here. I stopped here. I still have to do this. There. There's reference image. We also have an anonymous gifter gifting a sub to Anne Dream. Thank you for the gift sub. So see how the moss is more licheny and less mossy? Pretty sure it was still moss. But it's pretty flat. It needs to be less round. But doing a little bit of shading in the bark and then also giving the moss a shadow to sit on the bark is helping. This is helping. I'm still convinced of that. Sometimes you have to sit back. This is why people buy long-handled paintbrushes. And I don't want to go too solid black paint. I think that would be a mistake. But I could bring in more blue if I want it even darker. Which I may do. All right, we've shaded. Now we can put another layer on this. Yeah, this is the wildest ponytail. It's fine. All right, I said I was doing knife layers on the dark parts and then brushes on the brighter parts. Okay, you can't see it because you're getting the glare, but we have our, let's get it straight in the light. That's our first layer. So we're gonna let that dry and work on moss. and clean off our hands. I also may try and hunt down a new paint tube cap, because the one on the ultramarine blue is really not even doing anything. And all it's doing is drying out the paint in the top of it and making it very difficult to work with. I have a few somewhere. There's also a brush on the floor. Okay. Let's take a look for that. I have a few places it could be. These are all my backup paint marker tips. I have a chamois. I have half a sponge. Paint key. Not in there. Alright, what other cups do I have full of random things? No cups down here. Let's not get my hair in the paint. Alright, what's in this cup? Nothing. This cup? No. Maybe I'm out of them. Maybe I used them all up. Because I don't have many cups left. Yeah, that's it for cups. Okay. I was hoping for one of these that are cleaned. And I had some. Those are all gray. I guess I'm out. Well, dang it. I think I might take this Dogzine purple one because there's like nothing left in this anyway. Because it's like totally empty. It's so empty, I already pulled a new tube of this purple out and put it on my cart. And losing this much paint is preferable to losing half a tube of ultramarine. Did I toss them for the move? I don't think so. Because they would have just been sitting in a container, and I'm pretty sure I just brought both my carts over as is. Alright, so now we have a tube. And I'm going to clear out as much of the paint as I can from it so it can dry faster. And hopefully it is dry and ready to switch with the ultramarine tube by the end of stream. It's mostly cleared out. Just gonna toss it in one of the water containers. The other spot the extra caps might be in all my backup paint stuff. And that would be a whole thing to try and hunt that down. But I think I would have had them over here. That makes way more sense. Because I only ever need them when one of these breaks. There was a period where the caps were manufactured poorly and broke. So they were sending out the gray replacements. All right, well, we dealt with that. Let's see, can you see this? I have zoom button. Do we see the blue right here? Right where my nail is? That's where it's broken, so that's just all dried paint from inside of it. Can't have that. Is there a paint brand I recommend for people moving out of craft style acrylics? Yes. So let me look at a list while I'm in between colors today. Let's look at Blick. So Blick acrylics are great. Like, they're artist level. They're cheaper than Golden, and I think they're great. So if you have Blick and you're in the US, that would probably be my suggestion. Blick, ooh, you changed your website. Paint, acrylic. So you're moving from craft paint out of craft. You could go student grade, or you could go like cheap professional grade. So a student grade, that would be good. Let's look at Blick student grade. No, okay. Do not go with the studio acrylic, the Blick studio acrylic. They're the ones that come in tubes, like squeezy tubes, plastic squeezy tubes. Those are bad. What's the brand I dislike a lot? What are they? Liquitex Basics. I dislike them a lot. Don't use them. Blick acrylic would probably be my suggestion. You could also consider things like pigment and buy nicer paints in different pigments. So things like burnt umber and burnt sienna, these colors are going to be better as a cheaper paint for getting your money's worth. So like if you want to like throw your money towards the colors that are bad as cheap paint, that would be the route. Liquitex Basics is what I had for college art class, and honestly I hated them only slightly less than craft. So you want like a really good titanium white. So like throw your money towards that, or yellow. Because those colors you're gonna want to be better. But these are cheaper to produce. Things like burnt umber, burnt sienna, carbon black. Like they're earth pigments. They're just like burnt wood, so they're cheap to make. So these ones as a cheap paint will go further than like, that's zinc. Let me find a normal yellow. Like this yellow, like this is where you want to put your money versus like a brown. Because earth pigments are cheaper and things like this are more expensive. And it shows. So you can kind of like skew your whole paint thing to have like the cheaper colors be your cheaper paints, and then put more money towards nicer colors that need to be nicer to look good. Does that make sense? Blues and greens? Greens are pretty cheap. You can get away with greens. Most blues, I think, are fine cheap. Yellow is the hard one. Out of like things that are colors, yellow's the hard one. I think red would be next. That would be my suggestion. Generally, white, yellow, blue, and red would be the ones to put money into. And then browns and blacks, like neutrals, because those are the earth tones, you could like get the cheaper version of those. And as long as they're all acrylic, you should be able to mix pretty good. You shouldn't have any problems with that. But Blick acrylic is a good, it's not quite student body, but it's not professional grade, in my opinion. Some of them are good, but like if you're just gonna stick with one brand, Blick acrylic is a great starting point in acrylic, I think, if you're moving out of something like craft paint or student level paint. It's a nice tier up. And I think you get your money's worth for it versus trying to throw all of your money into a full artist grade paint. If I considered painting a lemon donut, I think you'd really like to paint one. I did think about taking a break from this painting and painting something slightly less complicated. Because last week there was some frustration with this painting. And it's looking better and I'm happier about that. But I did consider being like, let's set this aside for a week. Come back to this. But I'm glad I worked on it. It's looking better. We're gonna work on the moss next. And I did do a little bit here. So like we're still making some progress on the parts I haven't painted yet. Nail painting next Friday? Ah, that room is not ready for nail painting. But I am getting new polish today. Because it was my birthday, and if you're signed up for the rewards, you get a free polish on your birthday. And I had enough rewards to get a second polish for points. And then I was like, I can get a third polish. So I have 3 polishes coming today. Birthday, didn't you have one last year? Steven's been joking that it's my birthday all week. So even though, like we celebrated my birthday last Saturday, like even last night at Mario Movie, he's like, it's your birthday. And it's like, I think we've celebrated enough with the birthday. And he's like, no. My dad posted in the family chat on my birthday and he's like, you're getting older. And I was like, never. I need to look at my palette. We have not celebrated enough. Here, have a lemon donut. Let me see what colors I bought. Let's see, Hello Taco. I bought peach tea was my birthday gift. And then I realized I don't really have a great green. So I bought Lost in the Woods with my points. And then the one I paid full price for was the No Smoking April Fool's Day collection one, because I only have one magnetic polish, and I was like, I need a second one, and this one I think is really pretty. So I got that one too. So I picked colors I don't have, because I don't have an orange. Now I have peach tea, and then I got a green because I don't have a green. I have teal, but I don't have green. And I was like, how am I gonna do Packers nails? So I needed a green. And then I wanted a magnetic, and I picked No Smoking. So those are arriving today. All right, moss colors. Jenkins is our shadow color. So we're gonna start with that. I have all of those except peach tea. I'll have to let you know how it is, Kita. It was pretty. Mine are all green right now, like blue-green. I realized I have a lot of blues and a lot of purples. I needed to tone it down just a little bit and go a little bit on the other side of the color wheel. As a Bears fan, you don't need to do Packers nails. Jet. Soccer Celica says, I'm trying to resist buying more polish right now. I have too many I haven't used. I haven't really been doing mine much. I need to do more. Because I have a ton. Did I need more? No, but I got 2 for basically free. And then I was like, well, I'm paying shipping. I should get a 3rd. There are more Bears fans in the server than you might think. I didn't know that. My first ever username online was 2004 was Cheese Guy since my family's a Packers fan. I didn't know. And Fossix gifted a sub to you. Thank you, Fossix. All right, let's do more moss and make this look better. Is this dry? Yeah, I can set this down on my leg. So my plan is where all the moss is too puffy, to kind of just like stretch it out and make it less puffy. And hopefully make it look more like lichen. And so far, this is actually doing really good. Don't hockey playoffs start? Because I got an email about round 1 for Kane's games. Cheese Guy, Phazon 9, Sephiroth, and Cephazon. That's a really neat like transition through them. I'm pretty sure my first username was Digimon themed. NHL start next weekend? Ah, okay. This Jenkins green is very old. Paint gets a texture to it, and then when it starts to get old, it's weird. My polish is here. I'll have to go get it. Speaking of my nail polish. Go get it now. Nah. We'll do nail stream immediately after painting. I gotta prep a bicycle for tomorrow, so it is ready. Because I think I'm gonna take my red bike on the pace line. And I need to switch pedals. I need to probably switch my saddle. I have to put my GPS mount on that bike because I only have one, so I have to switch it all the time. Bike prep stream then. Red bike is actually in really good shape right now because purple bike friend was a mechanic and was like, I want to work on a bike. And I was like, well, you want one to work on? Here you go. So he worked on red bike. So red bike is actually all tuned up. Gray bike needs a tune-up. Rachel needs a tune-up. But that's gonna be not for another month or two. Body cam your whole day. We chill. When is Rachel getting a sister? If anything, what's going to happen is I'm going to probably at some point get a new road bike, so replace the red one. And the red one's either going to become my indoor trainer bike or sell it. Red bike does have a name, Jet. Jet asked, why doesn't red bike have a name? Red bike's name is Rain, R-A-Y-N-E. Apparently I went with an R theme. It's a B tier letter. This brush is getting really gunked up with paint, so it's not really making the marks I want it to make. It's making these lines and not these like firework bursts. I don't know how to describe it. Why not another lighter one? I could switch. It was unintentional. Picking names. It was not like, oh, let's find an R name. It was picked out because of the name. Now we gotta roll with the theme now. Roxy, just give me your list. I'll just pick one from there. You have at least 3 names to steal from the rest of the mod team. Oh no, I hit the mic, I'm sorry. Alright, this is not done yet, but like, I'm happy with how it's starting to look. We are fixing the problem. Time to mix a new green. This chair is still so squeaky. Pureback changing my name to start with an R. All right, green set. Now we need to move more into sap green. Sap green. And I don't think sap green alone is going to do enough as a next layer for the highlight, so we're gonna mix in our Hansa. Hansa, raw sienna, and zinc whites. Raw, Hansa, you are sap green, and zinc. See, I got my hair cut, and I was like, hey, curtain bangs, please, behind ear. But they're just too short to stay behind ear, because my hair is so silky and doesn't do anything. Alright, this is a good next tone. Now I need a new brush that I can stipple moss with. So the goal here is to make this less puffy and stretch it out so it looks more lichen-like. So instead of trying to round them, we're just going off to the sides more. That was way too much. Oh my god. Okay, next layer. I'm gonna do this layer and then I'm gonna check on that paint cap to see if it's all cleaned off of purple. And then we'll go back to working on the bark. I need a different stippling brush. Maybe this one. It feels much better. Like, especially in here. This part needs to be brighter though. It's sitting much flatter. I do think I want to do another layer to the highlight, but I'm going to leave it alone. Until we get more moss on the entire canvas. But I'm much happier with it. Less frustrated than last week. And the reason I'm not doing more moss right now, on this part with the brighter highlights is because all of my good stippling brushes are wet, and you can't stipple as well with a wet paintbrush. It just kind of bleeds. So we'll check on this cap. Got most of the paint out. Look, it's just a little purple. Just a little bit. I don't want to contaminate the ultramarine blue by switching it, so I have to make sure it's clean. Wow, this is Terraria. This is a good song. If I had time, what I would do is I would probably put some clear paint, like matte medium or something, in this cap and let it dry out completely and then pick it out, and it would probably pull all of the purple with it. But I think this is good enough. So we're gonna switch it now. This is the part of painting you don't get to see. It's like weird maintenance things. Clean up the treads. And then we'll put this cap on. There. Now it's not in danger of drying out. But like this one, like it was just about to break. So you can see like this is the neck of the cap and then this is the cap itself. So it was really cracked. And like this is all the dried paint that was in that. Let's put this over my shirt so you can see it. Yeah. So that was all paint that was just drying out and going to waste. But we fixed it. Rip old cap. Goodbye. Toss in the trash. Sometimes it's hard to know, like, if that's happening, how much paint you will be losing, because if I wasn't using ultramarine blue right now, that could the whole tube could have dried out. And that would have sucked. What tier color are you? You don't say. Golden prices their tubes by the pigment in them. Like we were talking earlier about cheap paints versus expensive paints. They have a series number on Golden, and the higher the series is, the more expensive it is because of the pigment that is in it. So I don't know what ultramarine is offhand, but zinc white, being a cheap earth color, because it's zinc, is a series 1. So this is a cheaper paint versus something like Jenkins, which is a series 7. And like sometimes you have to buy a higher series because even my base colors, that example, so is that. So like even my primary colors, when I'm using the primaries, like this is a series 2, but I don't know what the magenta and the cyan are offhand. Sometimes you just need a series 9 and you can't help it. Do I have a series 9? Cadmium's a series 9. Cadmium is expensive. Series 2 for ultramarine? Okay. So it's not terrible if I lost the whole tube, but it's not great. I don't love that. All right, back to painting bark. Clean off palettes. Cadmium, aka the example my teacher used for why you should be very careful not to drink the paint water. Yeah, cadmium's probably, if it's not the worst, it's up there. It's hard to say if it's cadmium or cobalt. I think cadmium's more well known as one of the more toxic colors. Pigments. They are not colors I use regularly. I try to avoid them, but sometimes you just really want cadmium on a painting. Because it does have a look to it. The North Carolina Art Museum here in Raleigh has a really good exhibit on pigments, red specifically, talking about the evolution of red in paint pigments, and as things were discovered or popular or fell out of favor with artists and like how they use it. Like lead white, no one uses lead white anymore because it's lead. In lead paint, it might be illegal. Like, I don't think you can sell it or buy it anymore. I'm sure there are some people who have stockpiles of old paint just kind of squirreled away. But red, let's see, I don't have any red matter. M-A-D-D-E-R? Matter? Not like T-T-E-R. I don't think I have any. But how red went from using that to cadmium to them discovering a new red because there was a toxic chemical spill in probably Ohio or somewhere. And they're like, what do we do with this? And some, I think grad students were like, let's try to turn it into something useful. And I think they turned it into a pigment. And there's a whole exhibit on it, and it's super cool. And then they have paintings up that are using the different red pigments in them, so you can kind of see how madder has more of like a pink color to it, a pink ruby hue versus cadmium, which is a very blood red color. Drink it, you'll become madder. Yeah, I don't think I have any. Like, it was closer to quinacridone, madder is, or alizarin. Like, they're slightly more cooler reds. Let's do the zoom button. Zoom button. Like, see how these are pinker than cadmium? Cadmium's like way more blood red. Like barn red. Stop sign red. Whereas like quinacridone and alizarin are slightly more towards the purple end of the color wheel. Here's my color wheel. Camera. There we go. So like cadmium is closer like here on red, whereas like madder and alizarin and quinacridone are like over here on this little bit of red. Kita says, I have a twos of rose madder actually. Yeah, it's typically a watercolor color. I don't think I can get it in acrylic, at least with Golden's acrylic. I really like this color wheel because it takes red and it's like, oh, if you're adding red to a color. So if I add red to yellow, it makes orange. Oh my gosh, there's a glare. But then I have yellow. If I add yellow to, let's go violet, we get a muddy color because they're complements. And then it does it with blue too. And then also it does your tints with if you add white. So if you add, let's pick a different color. If you add white to green, you get a light green. And then they have black, so if you add black to green, you get a dark green. So it's a very fun color wheel. And then the back has fun stuff too. I'm zoomed in, so I don't know where things are. So it tells you what your complements are and what happens if you mix them. And then you have your split complements. And then you have your triad colors. And then it's also like, here are your analogous colors. And then it has tint, tone, and shade. Anyway, it's a great color wheel. I really like this color wheel. I don't look at it often, but it's a good little cheat sheet. And then I have this one. What's this one? Oh, this is my proportion scale. This one I should use more often, but I don't. So it's about splitting up proportions. So if you have 1 inch on the original and you want to reduce it, let's see, what's a good even number that would make sense? Like if you're trying to reduce it 80%, it'll tell you like what the 1 inch becomes on the reduction for 80%. So this is kind of a nice little tool. If I want to increase 1 inch by 200%, then that's going to be 2. So on the outside it says 2. So I have a proportion scale. Cooler wheel. All right, back to bark. I think I have the most red of any color because I'm never happy with the reds I have. I don't like this one. Let's buy an alizarin. No, I don't like this one. Let's buy cad hue. All right, back to sketchbook with my palette in it. Our tree bark colors are these colors, and I've already done the shades in here, but I have not done the shades in here. So I think I should remix up that and build those, and then start to just include these as I get into my highlights. So we're gonna mix up burnt umber and ultramarine. I might draw a little bit. Should do that first, so my paint doesn't dry out. So I'm happy with this line. And then right about here is where we get a little bit of a split. Where we get this, which I may have arced too much. swooped it way too far low. Way too far low. Way too low. That's better. And then we have this piece that kind of runs into it, so maybe I do need to bring this up. Yeah. And then we get a bunch of like little rocks. And like there's like a tiny cute little mushroom right here. And there's a highlight that comes up there. And our shadow, the deepest part of the shadow, does that. And I think I made this way too big, so we're gonna make that smaller. Actually, those are more vertical. Yeah. And I think this needs to come way over here. Because if this is here, yeah, this should be here. I'm probably drawing this way too much. I didn't need to probably draw in all this detail. So in here though, let me draw more detail. We get a tiny cute little mushroom. Cute little mushroom. There's a lot of rocks right here. And then this is the start of that sapling that's coming up from in here. Because we get a leaf this way. And then we get a leaf there. And then it gets, like the big leaf is up here. and then it gets another leaf here. So it gets quite large. I just want to do the bark first, but I need to know where it lives on the canvas too. That seems good. We can let it live there. All right, anywhere else I need to draw in detail? I don't think so. All right, we did that. We're gonna go back to our test piece on the sketchbook. Maybe do another layer with the knife. Don't want to stay there? No? All right. So we did burnt umber alone. Was I mixing anything else into this besides zinc? Burnt umber, ultramarine. No, I was not. The bark was just these three. Makes that easy. I think I'm gonna finish the test for today. Yeah, still streaming. That's because we spent a lot of time not painting. I had cake to eat. I don't think this is light enough. All right, because I have two sets of bark on this little test strip, I'm gonna do one with the knife, and then we're gonna switch to one with the brush. I don't know if it's light enough. That's okay. I don't remember last week who suggested doing this, where I do some of it with the knife and then switch to the brush for the highlights. But I think you were spot on. I think this looks good. try to get it without glare. Let's see. It's coming together a bit more. And it's looking like this, which I like. I do think this needs to be a little less spotted though. So I'm happy with that. Let me grab the knife and do a little bit more. Because the knife looks good too, but it's not letting me control it as much, and I need to have a little bit of control about where things go. So, like I said, whoever said last week that if I do the knife for some of it, and then bring the highlights on top with a brush, I think you're right, because it's looking way better and it's giving me a little bit more of that random feel that I want, but letting me control the bright parts. Because if I bring the brush back onto here, so we're gonna do scrapey bark, and then we're gonna switch to brush. So we should start by doing the shadows with a brush though. So we'll finish off today by doing that. So there's more progress being made than I feel like there was. Because we did that here. And I don't think I'm going to go as dark as I had done at the beginning of the stream to darken this, because I want to have the ability to do that later. I don't think I grabbed enough paint. Oh, that's not dark enough though. It needs to be at least as dark, if not darker, than what's already there. And I suppose it's quite dark in some of these spots, so I don't need to do this everywhere. I've also figured out why I want to add this darker color in, and it's very specifically because of this side. Because I started to put everything down, I was like, oh, it's already dark in spots. Why am I trying to do this? It's because of over here. I think I also wanted to get some on the bottom of the canvas, so we might do that too. I would use my white paint pen for this part, but that is not in this room. So we're just going to leave that stem there. And then we're going to paint the bottom of the canvas. Oh yeah, that needs to be darker than it is. So let's just do that. Wish I had a different brush. I don't. We could grab one, but this one already has paint on it. I had been reading something the other day where someone was saying that painting the edges of your canvas, wrapping it as I do, is like not something you should do as an artist. I don't know. But I like wrapping it. I think it makes it feel more complete. Why not? I think the thought process is something about like professionalism, or like you shouldn't need to do that as an artist, or it's like a mark of someone who's not a professional. But I think it's just left over from the fact that people didn't do it for a long time. Okay. That is now wet, so I can't set it right side up. Is the right side dry? Yeah. We can set it on its side. Maybe then it looks prefabricated? Maybe. I was told it looks unprofessional in my first drawing class, and I was like, that's stupid. I just like it wrapped. I like the look of a floating canvas on the wall. I think it makes it look more complete. And yeah, framing is great, but not everyone can frame. Have you looked at the prices of having a canvas framed? They are expensive. What I need to do is I need to do a stream where I do frame a canvas so you all see how you can do it yourself, so you're not paying stupid amounts of money to have someone do it for you. Sounds like a hot take. It sure is, Brooklyn. Hot takes on the painting world with Mallory. I have a painting with the edges done next to a printed canvas without the edges, and I prefer the one with the edges done. And sometimes if you have a canvas printed, they'll print like black on the sides, and that's fine. I like the canvas stretching stream. I have a secret desire to do more paintings that are larger for fun, but I also recognize that puts stress on whoever is buying it to figure out what to do with an unstretched canvas that gets sent to their house. And not something you can open and just stick straight on the wall. Oh, the printed has white instead of black? Ugh. There was one company I looked at that took this much of the painting, or whatever you were putting on canvas, and then mirrored it. And then the mirrored part was wrapped. And like, that's fine. I don't think it's great. Wrapping the edges gives the person who owns it how they want to hang it, where the edge is not done gives the choice of hanging to the artist. Yeah. I don't know. I like being able to send a painting off and it's complete and someone can put it on their wall after they put a wire on it, or a sawtooth comb or whatever they're doing. And if you want to frame it, frame it. As far as I know, no one has framed my work and put it on their wall. They just hang the floating canvas, which is totally fine. Like I said, I wrap it so you can do whatever. I do like the look of a framed canvas. I know it is stupid expensive. And like at some point maybe I'll frame one and then sell it framed. I have a few frames. Let me grab one. If I can find one, where's one? Got one. All right, so here's a frame. It's in rough shape. So I need to do an 8x10 canvas that I can frame and show you how it's done. This is a floating frame, which I like for paintings because then the frame doesn't touch the surface of the canvas. Do I have an 8x10 painted instead of just this? I do. Oh, that's way better to show it off. Okay. All right, so on a normal frame, like pretend this is the front, even though it's the back, you have your painting. This was my test for the Starman Super painting. It gets here, right? And then it's framed. But the painting is touching the inside right here because it's set up against it. So it's like going to adhere in time to what it's touching. And you don't want that because when you finally need to remove it, it's going to be stuck and it may take paint with it and like ruin it. So I prefer a floating frame. Partner painted a large piece and he didn't finish the sides and it bothers me. The first few paintings I did, I want to say the first 3, I painted the sides a solid color. So those ones are not wrapped, but everything else has been wrapped, like I am doing here, where I wrap the image around it. So on a floating frame, the canvas sits in the front, and then it floats. So it is framed, and you do lose the sides of it, but that's okay. And like the sides are touching, but they're the sides. They're not the face of it. And nothing's getting obscured. If you have one that's deep enough and it is wrapped, you can still see like some of the image here. You can't really on camera, but trust me. So I thought about doing a stream where I frame something and then just sell the whole thing framed. And then what you do is on the back, this one has holes to screw into the canvas, but I don't think they're lined up right. So you buy these clips that like come down and then they're L-shaped. So you screw here and then you screw here on those clips. So that's what holds it. And then you wire here to here. So that's my preferred way of framing. I think it looks much better. But floating frames tend to be more expensive. So yeah, I do have a secret desire to do more streams where I'm doing the prep of a canvas, like stretching or gessoing, because I do buy them pre-stretched most of the time. Almost everything I've painted on has been pre-stretched. But I do like stretching a canvas. I think it's very fun. I think it's interesting for people to see that part of it. And it does let me do fun things, like do really weird sizes. I don't know. I have a lot of canvases to get through that are pre-stretched. I could also talk about the prep of a pre-stretched canvas and what you should do. It's not what I always do, but I should. If I had a backlog of paintings I all needed to do isolation coats or varnish for, we could do that, but I rarely do. Right now I have no backlog of paintings. Everything I had and it finished already has sold. We've put up the time lapse, we've done the eBay, they've been shipped. This is the only painting I have right now. And it's not done. It buys you time to think about how you'd like to show us. That's true. And if I do any acrylic pour paintings again, then I have like 20 or however many I've done that I have to isolation coat and varnish and package and ship. So then I have all those. So it's been 2 years since I did one of those. A year and a half maybe, where we did a stream where we did the acrylic pour paintings. Those are just fun, and they make pretty colors. Imagine not having several works in progress. What's that like? I do have a few works in progress that are not stream paintings. I should get back to those, because it's been far too long since I've worked on them. All right, we've made progress today. I feel much better about this painting. I was actually quite unhappy last week with it. I was like, oh god. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I considered doing a different piece this week just because I didn't want to work on this one and face what I had done to it. Because I was unhappy. I was like, what if I just struggle again? And I was really anxious about it. But I feel like it's looking much better and in a much better place. And that happens. When I do a larger canvas, we get to that point in like literally every painting where I'm like, I hate it. There's a lot of imposter feelings about that when that happens. And I was like, this part looks so good. I'm so happy with this stupid little puddle. And then I'm like, what did I do up here that's so bad? But it looks better. And next week we can probably finish the bark of this because I have all the pieces in. We know a plan. We're gonna do the knife to do the highlights or the midtones, and then we're gonna use the brush to do the highlights, and then it's just the rest of the greenery. We've made good progress. It's coming along. And then maybe at some point we can paint my foyer and hang all of my artwork up in the foyer. I have to research wall painting. I know you have to like prep the walls because there's definitely some holes that the last owners left. So we have to like do some prep, probably clean things, and then paint the walls. And like I know generally how to paint a wall, but I am not a professional wall painter. And it is a room I have to get done before we have kittens because they're going to be right there. There's no way. So if we're getting kittens, like it needs to get done. Generally patch up holes with some mud, clean the wall. Sometimes you can get away without primer. That's my knowledge of it, Tech Absol, but like that's it. Like the baseboards probably need cleaned off because that didn't get done when we moved in. And because they're not bad. So like I should probably do that so like the dust doesn't get up onto the wall. I know you have to like cut in on the edges. Use a roller for the rest of it. Like it's not hard. I'm just not practiced at it. All right, let's talk about the things that are coming up. Tonight on Steven's channel, we're playing Hitman. And last week was chaos, and I'm hoping there's a little less chaos, but still some chaos tonight. And it's been fun. Looking forward to hitting more mans. I don't know how there can't be chaos with that game, to be honest. Unless, like, you're very skilled and practiced at it and you're doing kind of speedrun stuff where you know where things are and when. What if more chaos? If it's you, there will be chaos. True, there will be. And there's both of us, so there's twice as much chaos. Sunday, Steven's going to be playing more Hades. There's still paint on my hand. So tune in for that. Monday night, there will be more Ghost of Yote. We had birthday stream last week for Ghost of Yote. And we wore hats. And I still felt like I was wearing that crown like 24 hours later because it was so heavy on me. And then next week should all be normal stuff as far as I know. I don't think there's anything strange going on. Steven's playing Outer Wilds Wednesdays, which I know he has been just in love with and very happy with, and is like, I really hope that you can play it and you don't get motion sick, because you would really like it. I don't know. Maybe we can try it at some point. Oh, the Exit 8 one is out. Recent release on Steven Plays. Thank you, Radio Dread. All right, everyone. Thank you for being here as we worked on this painting. We made good progress. It's looking much better. So I'm excited for us to wrap up on this because I think bringing in some of the fine detail here is going to bring it together. Hope to see you all later for Hitman. I hope you have a good Friday. I'm going to go get Red Bike ready for a silly ride tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.